Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So, I want to discuss the nominations for the 2025 Emmy Awards because I do have some thoughts, and based on the shows that I like that are being considered, of course, I want to talk about that at least briefly. So let's talk about first the ceremony, the nomination ceremony itself. So that was live streamed live yesterday on the Emmys website, their YouTube channel, and different social media platforms. Now, I was not able to watch it live at the time because I was out. I was watching the latest Superman movie in theaters. So I had to catch up later in the evening. And it's quite short with the ceremony itself, like it was around 15 minutes. On YouTube, you have to scroll all the way to the 20-minute mark just to see the beginning of it. So I felt it was kind of ridiculous for the length of the ceremony itself. I didn't get why they only announced the lead acting categories and then the main uh, categories for each genre. They could have squeezed in at least the other acting categories, but other than that, like it was okay. The ceremony itself, I thought Brenda Song and Harvey they did a good job announcing the nominees. So there is that. Now, as for the nominations itself, yeah, I was quite happy with it overall. And if you have paid attention to, I guess, other like prediction videos and other people covering the Emmys, essentially, it wasn't too surprising overall. There were some surprises and snubs, obviously, but for the most part, it felt expected. So. Severance was the most nominated show. I'm not too surprised because I think when that show came out earlier this year, I remember that was being widely talked about online. Now, I have not seen the show yet myself. I feel like it'll be something in my wheels because I do love sci fi stuff. Um, but from the consensus that I've seen online, it seems that the first season was better than the second season, which the show is nominated for. So I'm curious to see like what's going to happen with that show with the Emmys. It's possible that it could sweep the tech categories that it's nominated or the craft categories it was nominated for. As for the main categories, I mean, we shall see what happens on that front. But for me, the shows that I'm rooting for the comedy side, the studio, I really enjoyed that show. And The Pit. I didn't watch The Pit at the same time that everyone else watched it when it was live, so I caught it like later on. And yeah, I was immediately hooked with that show. In ways, it kind of reminds me of ER. Now, I get that the same people, I guess most of the people, I can't remember, that were involved with ER are involved with the show. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with those shows with the Emmys. We shall see on that. So I did pull up. I was able to find the interactive list for nominations because I thought at first it was only going to be the PDF file, but I was able to find an interactive list for the categories. So I don't have to scroll through each one. So for comedy here, these were pretty expected for comedy series. I'm not gonna go through every category here because you could visit the website if you want to look at it on your own. I do want to comment on a few of them. So for lead acting, it's not surprising with this list. I guess some would be surprised that Steve Martin wasn't nominated for Only Murders in the Building, but I guess the competition is quite tough out there because I think he did miss for the SAG awards. So yeah, pretty expected here. And then for lead actress, I was surprised that Uzo Aduba was nominated for The Residence. The Residence is one of my favorite shows that came out so far this year. It's unfortunate that Netflix canceled it. But regardless, yeah, at least, yeah, she got nominated, so good for her. And I think as for the rest, yeah, pretty expected on that front. What else did I wanted to look? Let's look at the guest categories. For guest actor is essentially John Bernthal for The Bear versus the studio, essentially. So, yeah, I think again, I'll make a predictions video down the line. But if I were to guess right now, who I think is going to win in this category, probably Bryan Cranston is my guess. But I think anything can happen. So we'll see. And then for guest actress, yeah, two actors from The Bear. You had Cynthia Erivo for Poker Face, Zoe Kravitz for The Studio, good for her, and then two for Hack. So good on them. Oh my gosh, I keep scrolling up. And then for drama, I think, yeah, pretty expected. I was honestly kind of surprised, like with the show Paradise. I know, like it was being like people thought it could have been nominated, all that stuff, but in terms of how it showed up in terms of its nominations, I was quite surprised on that front. And then what else I wanted to look at? Let's see. Lead actor. I'll be honest. I was surprised that Pedro Pascal got nominated for The Last of Us. Now, I only watched the first season of that show. I didn't watch the second season, but yeah, my brother, he played the games, and if you are familiar with the games, you know what happens with his character, and he's not really in much of season two, Pedro Pascal. So I'm really curious why he's nominated in this category. It felt like supporting would have been suitable, but again, I don't know. I do not know. Let's see. Did I want to look at lead actress? So I think, yeah, many are surprised that Sharon Horgan got nominated for Bad Sisters. That was like maybe not get nominated, but that ended up happening. But otherwise, pretty expected. Let's see, supporting actors. So a lot of them here, yeah, either Severance or The White Lotus, and then you have James Marsden for Paradise. Interesting. Um, yeah, I'll be honest. I was kind of surprised. I thought someone from The Pit or two would have been nominated for the supporting categories, but that ended up not happening. Same for supporting actress. Well, at least Catherine Lanasso got nominated for The Pit, so good for her. But mostly at either The Severance or White Lotus. But you have also Julianne Nicholson for Paradise. So there is that. I want to look at guest actor. I'm surprised Giancarlo Esposito got nominated for The Boys, because I feel like with The Boys is one of the shows that is not expected to get nominated, but yeah, good for him for that. And yeah, we have two actors from Last of Us, and then yeah, of course from The Pit, obviously, and Forest Whitaker for Anders. Are good for them. Good for them. Let me check a guest actress. A lot of Severance, two from Last of Us, and then of course Handmaid's Tale. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see TV movie. Interesting. Like what is that show? Oh, Mountainhead, because it was okay. Interesting. I'm glad Nona's got nominated. I really liked that movie Nona's on Netflix. It was quite a delight to watch. Let's see, variety special. So yeah, two SNL specials got nominated, and Beyonce Bowl, and then of course Kendrick's halftime show. That was excellent. Yeah, I find overall it's not bad with the nominations itself. But I do want to bring up this tweet I noticed on yesterday when I was seeing how people were reacting to the lists themselves. That I've seen similar tweets like this where people have mentioned that the Emmys tend to nominate the same 4 or 5 shows essentially. Like this person says here, year over year, more and more Emmys categories are becoming homogenized, and that's not good. Two shows dominating the category when there's more TV than there's ever been is So yeah, I wondered though if this is becoming more apparent because of the landscape of TV itself, with streaming, of course, being a big factor, and of course, like you still have the network stuff, but it seems like now the shift is more to streaming, and I'm just wondering if that plays a key role into why only the few shows are nominated, or it could be that the members just did not have the time to watch everything, and that's why you keep seeing the same shows over and over. I have no idea, to be honest, but yeah, I thought that was interesting to bring up. So I do want to let's talk about the snubs and surprises because I've seen many people have a lot of thoughts on this. So let's look at varieties list here. Scroll. So no Last of Us season two fatigue for the show's key players. So yeah, I'm not surprised with Last of Us not hitting the same because from what I'm seeing people reacting to season 2, it's just not as good as season 1. So but despite that, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey were still able to get nominations. For Snub, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Michelle Monaghan, Sam Nivola, and Leslie Bibb for supporting categories. So I have not watched The Lotus. I think I've tried to watch the first season. I've watched the first few, then I couldn't really get into it myself, so it's not for me. Uh, but um, but yeah, out of like the actors that were being discussed, I thought Patrick Schwarzenegger would have got nominated, but that did not happen. So I don't know. I don't know. In terms of surprise, the supporting characters of the pit, not much nominations there. Yeah, it's possible. Like this mentions that they could have canceled each other out, but could be like competition too. Who knows? Handmaid's Tale. I've seen many wanted that show to get nominated, especially since it's its last season. I wasn't too surprised by that because it seemed like for the past few years, its nominations keep decreasing for that show. So I feel like it's very rare for a show that late, especially like with this being the final season, to get a lot of Emmy nominations. But I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. So yeah, it did not happen here for that show. The Resident, yeah, as I mentioned, I was surprised by that. I'm happy that she got nominated with Uzo Aduba, but yeah, Megan Faye for Sirens, yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that show, but I wasn't sure if that was gonna get selected. So who else you mentioned? The Voice. I got snubbed. I'm not surprised, honestly. I used to watch that show a lot, but I kind of just stopped. Agatha all along got snubbed. I wasn't too surprised for based on what I've heard from in terms of how people are reacting to that show. Snub Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror. Gee, I used to watch Black Mirror. I don't know. I feel like Black Mirror is very hit and miss with the episodes. There's gonna be some episodes that stand out, some not so much. So there's that. Yellow Jackets, Snubs. I wonder it's because with the network it's on, because I believe it's on Paramount Plus. I think it was on Showtime, but it's on Paramount Plus. I don't know, maybe. And then Andor got snubbed for the acting categories. I have not watched Andor. I think I tried to watch the first season. I couldn't really get into it myself, but yeah, I thought Diego Luna would have got nominated, but that didn't happen. Perhaps Pedro Pascal took his place. I don't know, but at least I would say Diego Luna is more of a lead than with Pedro Pascal in season 2 of The Last of Us. So there's that. And Deadline. Let's look at Deadline because they talked about this as well too. I'm gonna try to skip over the ones I already talked about. Squid Game, yes, I've seen many people mention this. I have not watched Squid Game, so I can't comment on the quality of the show. But my brother has watched it, and he really liked the first season. The second season, not so much. He did not like. So I do wonder if it's because of reception. But I think possibly because with the show essentially turning into a franchise, because you have because Netflix put out was it the reality show Squid Game, and then they're doing some experience with Squid Game. I do wonder, like, because they're trying to use what they can with the IP of Squid Game, I wonder if that also played a factor as to why the show got snubbed itself. I don't think it's a visibility issue because it still got the millions of views on Netflix and all that stuff. I It could be because it's just not resonating with the voters with season 2, and then probably too because maybe franchise factor and all that stuff. But I mean, it could be multitude of reasons, but that's what came to mind, at least for me. But yeah, there's that. Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. I felt it seemed like her was is kind of like up in the air. I perhaps Uzo Aduba took her spot, but yeah, because I find she's great in Only Murders, but yeah, that's quite unfortunate. And I forgot to mention this, but it's weird. I find that for the acting categories, for the lead categories, you only have 5 slots, but for the supporting and everything else, you get what 6 or 7 slots. I just wish there was more consistency on that instead of like having only few for the main ones, but you can have so much for the supporting ones. So I did not. I don't know why it's like that. I just wish there was just consistency and all that stuff. On him being snubbed, I'll be honest, I was not surprised because it seemed like even though like when the show came out, people were talking about it. It seemed like it wasn't widely discussed. And I do also wonder too because apparently I saw there was some scandal that resurfaced of him with the hazing thing. Um, that was just unfortunate to see when that came out at the time. But I also wonder if that played a factor into that. I mean, who knows? But I was just not surprised. And then Elizabeth Moss, Allison Janney, Seth Meyers. Surprises. Let's see. Oh, they put Beyonce as a surprise. I don't know, like what other stuff was in contention, but I didn't felt that was surprising. I don't know. I'm not sure, but that could be just me. Martin Scorsese. I didn't think his nomination was a surprise. Like I felt it was expected because out of like the guest actors on the studio, like I would say he was one of the highlights of with Scorsese. I thought he was funny. James Mars and Julian Eccleston. I would say yeah because I wasn't sure how the Paradise Show was going to land overall with the voters, but they seem to really like it, and perhaps like that could be a potential dark horse where that could end up, winning over The Pit and Severance. But yeah, there's that, and I have not seen that show. I do want to watch it, so Yeah, there's a, and then there's What We Do in the Shadows. So I'm really curious what they say in the comment section for Deadline. I don't know what that stands for. Used to be brand as a comedy. Best actor, Tulsa King. Yeah, I've seen some people mention that none of the the Taylor Sheridan shows got nominated. I do want. I think it's probably because it's the Paramount Plus of it all, or could be that it did not resonate with the voters. Let's see, Dark Wind, Diego Luna. Yeah, we talked about this. So yeah, that's really all that I have to say on the Emmys. I want to know, what are you guys' thoughts on the Emmy nominations? What shows or what actors or so forth? Who are you rooting for to win? And what do you think were the snubs, in your opinion, surprises? Let me know in the comment section. So, also, too, if you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Nomfanelo, where you could donate either one time or monthly. Plus, also, too, you could follow me there. You could view the posts that I have there. And also, too, if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.